Hey peeps, Tracy from Sugar Bees. I'm in my kitchen in Lake in the Hills all by myself because I don't have any staff. But I wanted to come on and kind of be, I guess, a little vulnerable, which is not easy for me. I am what I like to call a extroverted introvert. I can do people for a little bit of time, and then I have to hide in my hole and re-energize for a while. So this whole COVID thing has me feeling some kind of way for sure. I have been dealing with a lot of stress, as I'm sure everybody is, and especially some of the other cookie decorators like me. My business, I think, is a little bit different than some of the ones that are still doing really well, which I've seen quite a few cookie decorators who focused on doing cookies for consumers, like birthday parties and things like that. My focus was business to business. I did a lot of cookies that were for big brands to hand out to their clients, or for big marketing companies to hand out at events. I did a lot of big commercial orders, and that was my focus. And it was doing really well for me. And then I got a contact from a national grocery store chain, and I worked really hard for a year to meet the requirements that they were asking of me, which was SQF sanitation requirements. And maybe someday I will do some information about that, because for anybody, I started out like everybody else, a home baker, and doing small little orders, and then I just changed my focus to commercial and grew. And SQF threw me for a loop. It was like learning another language. So maybe at some point I will do some teaching on that, so that anybody else who wants to grow into the commercial business or commercial sector of cookies will have a jump on me, even because you have to have sanitation licensing that's way above just taking an online class. But anyways, on to what I'm here about. So I got contacted by this local or national grocery chain, and they wanted me to do all their grocery stores in Illinois, which would have been about 3,000 cookies a week. And I jumped through all the hoops to get my SQF, and I signed a 5-year lease for my kitchen in the beginning of February of this year. And then COVID hit. And that national grocery chain decided that they wanted to put things on hold while they tried to figure out how to navigate COVID. And all of my commercial business shut down because everybody in the beginning was working from home. There were no conventions, there was no big brand marketing. And like some businesses, I was able to get, federal funds to try and keep myself afloat. I didn't get a lot of funding because I am a small business, and that money ran out last month. So this month, paying my rent, I haven't been able to yet. And my landlord so far is not willing to negotiate any kind of a deal, because their other renters are not experiencing the same issues, but all of their other renters are mechanical businesses. And like when you're an auto mechanic, yeah, your car still breaks down even during COVID. So they're getting some business, and a lot of the other businesses they have in their in this commercial park are not food businesses. And I am the only food business in this commercial business, or in this commercial park. And so they're not very understanding right now. I hope that'll change, or I hope the national grocery chain will change and come through. But anyways, with COVID, I've been For a long time, just like everybody else, I was stuck at home. I am very fortunate. I work as a 911 dispatcher. I work graveyard shift. We work 12-hour shifts, so I work 3 days one week and 4 days the next week. So I was fortunate to continue to have income, and I got married in February, and my husband works as well. So we're fortunate that our personal finances aren't hit too hard, but for me, taking on a commercial kitchen was a huge overhead, but my business at the time, even without the grocery store, was able to cover those expenses. But like I said, there have been absolutely very few sales since COVID hit. By this time of the year, I'm usually at 36,000 in sales, and right now I'm sitting at around 4,000 in sales. And for the month of August, I think I have $126 in sales, which does not pay my rent. So I'm trying very hard to pivot. I've got an Etsy shop. I opened a shop on my website. I, am trying to juggle finances to cover what I can from my personal finances to cover with the business. But as my job as a 911 dispatcher during COVID, that's been really hard too, emotionally, because we're first responders. We are the first responder you talk to when you have an emergency. And there have been a lot more emergencies, as far as medical emergencies, as far as domestics. And now that things are beginning to open up, there's a lot of crime. And I was not able to see my family during some of the COVID, so I was really struggling with depression. And like I said, I'm an introvert, so I don't have a large social group. So I felt like I really didn't have anybody to talk to about the struggles that I was going through. I didn't want to talk to my husband because he is a type A personality and he stresses about everything. And men, you come to them to vent and they want to solve your problems. And these are problems that, he really can't solve for me. So I didn't want to burden him with those kind of things. And I just really didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to. And recently, because I'm struggling even more now with trying to pay the bills, I was really kind of spiraling into a dark place. And I read something, and I wish I remember where I read it. And she mentioned about being broken down in a car. Well, me personally, when I was younger, I ran out of gas. And I was about 8 months pregnant with my third daughter. I had my 2 other daughters in the car with me who were 6 and 7 at the time. So I've got 2 little kids and I'm very, very pregnant. And I run out of gas right in the middle of an intersection, a busy intersection. And I sat there for a while hoping that someone would see a woman, broken down in a car, the damsel in distress, and come to my aid. The only thing I got were people flipping me off, cussing at me as they drove by, and honking. And I thought, well, help isn't coming. So I got out and I began to push the car. And then people began to notice I was very pregnant and I was pushing a car. So people began to stop and help me to push. Well, I started thinking about that recently, and with all of the depressing things I deal with as a dispatcher and the depression I was dealing with because of my business, I started thinking about that car situation where I'm sitting here waiting for somebody to rescue me, waiting for an order to come in, waiting for, the national grocery chain to come through for me. And it reminded me about sitting in the car with no gas. All those people did was honk at me, go around me, and flip me off. What really started to make the difference is when I got out and pushed. When people saw me trying to help myself, they jumped out and helped me. So I started thinking, I need to push in my business too. So I haven't actually even been coming to the kitchen for several months now. I don't think I've spent time here in about 2 months. But I decided today I was going to start coming to the kitchen and icing cookies, and what I could, I'll just put in the freezer and save them for future orders. And then I started thinking, pushing is about picking myself up and helping myself. But I am a nurturer. I do well in my job as a dispatcher because I like to be able to help people. And there is so much depressing crap going on that I know I can't be the only one that feels like this. I know there has to be other people out there that are totally struggling with their emotions and their situation. And I started thinking, I'm not making any cookie orders, but I want to make cookies. So I started thinking, I just want to give people something to be happy about and let them know that they're being seen, they are being thought of, they're being, prayed for or thought of. So this is where you guys come in. I am looking to lift some spirits with cookies. I don't want anything in return. I just want you guys to give me names and addresses of some people who really could just use a lift, just used something to make them smile, because that's why I started making cookies and I started a cookie business, is because I like making people happy and I like feeding people and I like giving. So while I'm not making any money, I really just need to start giving to make myself feel better and make other people feel better. So do me a favor. If you know somebody who could use a little lift, send me their name and address and a little bit about their situation so I can design a cookie that will speak to them. And I will send it, if you want your name included or not, I can send it anonymous or I can send it from you. But you can reach me at tracy@sugarbees.com, and that's bees with a Z, zebra. Or you can message me through Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or however you want to reach me. But I really want to do this. I really need to lift my spirits by lifting somebody else's spirits. I need to get out and push my own car. So please, send me an email and put the subject line as push, because that's what I'm calling this. This is Sugar Bees Push. And again, this is Tracy with Sugar Bees in my kitchen in Lake in the Hills. And I will let you guys know how this goes. I hope to hear from some of you guys really soon. Bye.